So for our class, I created a template for a fishbone root cause analysis. This is something they needed to do as far as part of their project work, and then doing voting and the 5 whys, and then we had them brainstorm solutions. So yeah, this is an example of one that we used in our classroom, and each of the students went in, grabbed this template, made a copy of it, and did their assignment as they interviewed their work, if they chose to do a project at work or a university project. And so we helped them facilitate their root cause discussion, and they did it live with their interviewees. So we had them practice first the assignment, and then they needed to do it live with their stakeholders. When you talk concepts, it's really difficult unless people can see what it is that you're talking about, and to be able to show a visual diagram of what it is we're talking about, how processes happen, or how best ways of doing things. In order to show that visually, that saves loads of time in trying to create understanding with the people that you're working with. So for me, it's been absolutely vital to show visually what it is I'm talking about. I have used this for brainstorming like this in Lucidspark, but in Lucidchart, my primary role has been process improvement. And so I would document the process, and we'd come to that mutual understanding of exactly what the process is. Then we would identify where our trouble spots were on that process. We'd mark them with a Kaizen burst, and then we would formulate a new process. So I can show you some examples of that if you would like. Okay, here's an example of one that we did for the software approval process at UVU. Actually, here is a Lucidspark board where we came to the understanding of, what's the current assessment of the process, what are the goals that we want to achieve, and then we mapped out here what are the different case types. So I'm going to zoom in on that. Who will use the software? So we identified who, and then how it's going to be used, and then where. And as you can see, we were able to talk through workflow routing based off of my chicken scratches here on the board. And the real key, I think, for us in this process was identifying, okay, what are the case types that this group, this approving body, needed to handle? So we documented that out, and we talked about, okay, what is the value that that approval brings to the organization? This took some time and some discussion, but it was super valuable. We used this for all of our messaging as we rolled this process out to campus. So super vital right here, what we did in that box. And then here we defined roles. Okay, this is what the college department chair role entails, and this is what ATSC's role is. And then we did our brainstorming here. Let's zoom out a little bit on our root causes. So these were the solutions that we, identified. We even voted on them. It's not showing on this particular view, but I have it on another copy of it where we voted on the solutions we thought that would make the biggest difference. So for me, facilitating improvement conversations, Lucidspark and Lucidchart has been absolutely vital. In Lucidspark, I can get people to log in and be able to, especially during COVID, it was huge on creating engagement. Most people have a tendency to disengage, right, in Teams meetings or remote meetings. This enabled them to get in and actually type something in a box and think and contribute to the solutions. And we asked everyone to do that in Lucidspark. Lucidchart is not as easy for most people to jump in on that, but we were able to produce, I'll show you some process maps that we use. So this is an example of how we've used Lucidchart to talk through, and I can even present, right? So I've got a presentation, was able to present right here from our slides. So again, on the same software approval process, we were able to put together data surrounding the process and then present to stakeholders why we were doing. Let's see if it's going to move. There it goes. There's some information on, this is high level what the process is. These are the triggers. These are the results over on the right, and then the main activities in the middle. This helped us identify who needed to be involved in the software approval process revamp, and what case types were we going to tackle with this. So this really helped us narrow our scope, saving tons of time, right? Trying to tackle, as you may be aware, often things will bloat way beyond what you should be working on. And so this helped us keep to the right scope. All of this was in Lucidchart, right in our diagram, and we were able to go through, process expectations and measures. I didn't have to recreate slides in PowerPoint. I was able to just use what I had in Lucid, saving me a ton of time.